and welcome back. I can't believe it's already 2013. 2012 went by way too fast. So to commemorate the past year, we thought we'd take a look at one of the last games of 2012. It's from the fourth round of the Rilton Cup, which was played on December 30th here in Stockholm between Polish Grandmaster Michał Krasenkow, who, as we heard Albert say, went on to win the entire tournament, and Russian Grandmaster Sergei Ivanov. Krasenkow played white.
The game started out with knight to f3. This is a move we have come across quite often in our analysis of Grandmaster games. This move's popularity can probably be explained by, as I've said before, its versatility. Of course, there are limitations to what white can choose as a second move, but there are a lot of more options than there usually are. Sergei Ivanov responded by playing knight to f6, deciding not to reveal his hand either.
In this position, white has to make a choice. Stalling is not an option, as it's very important for white to keep his developmental advantage, and so the most common continuations are d4 or c4. Krasenkow chose the latter, which was followed by Ivanov's e6.
This was in turn followed by knight to c3 and bishop to b4. So far, so good. Neither player has chosen the most popular moves, but they haven't strayed far from the really common lines. That is, until now, where white decided to play g4. This move is not seen very often, and such aggressive opening lines are often not chosen in games between grandmasters.
Of course they do occur, but they are certainly not common. And it is almost always interesting to see how the game turns out after such a bold move has been played. This move lets black know that white is playing for the win.
Impulsively, it's easy to assume that it would be a mistake to try to capture that pawn, but you should never just instinctively trust your gut in chess. You have to calculate your options properly to make the best decisions. So take a step back and question that conclusion. It's actually possible for black to capture that pawn, but since white can play rook to g1, leading to f5, h3, knight to f6, and rook takes on g7, black often becomes deterred, even if the position isn't lost. Adriana, how did the game continue after white's g4?
Well, black, being afraid of white's imminent threat on g5, threatening the knight on f6, decided to make some space for it by playing pawn to d6. Another possible option for black would have been to play pawn to h6, protecting the knight by stopping white's threat. So how did white respond?
Well, white delivered on his threat by playing g5, forcing the knight to retreat to the 7th row, after which queen to c2 was played. Black, who has decided to go for a robust position, developed slowly by playing knight to c6, and now white's plan behind queen to c2 is revealed.
It's not really that big of a deal, but now white played a3, and after they exchanged on c3, the white queen has a great diagonal against the black's king side. Not wanting to protect the pawn on g7 by castling kingside, black went for e5, simply blocking the white queen.
Here white continued with his attack by playing b4, capturing territory and allowing for a black squared bishop to capture the a1 to h8 diagonal, which was followed by queen to e7, rook to g1, knight to b6, b5, knight to d8, and a4. White's development is really something. Not only did white advance with his g-pawn on the king side, but white's also advanced quite a lot on the queen side.
Naturally, there are both positives and negatives in these kind of positions. White has a lot of space, but on the other hand, it isn't the easiest position to defend. But in turn, black will have a hard time succeeding with his attack because of the cramped position he's got. Alfred, what happened in the actual game?
Well, first of all, black blocked white's advances by playing a5, after which white decided on attacking the center by playing d4. This was followed by e4, knight to d2, bishop to f5, and d5.
This position is really something, and the game itself, which I of course recommend that you watch, is exactly like this opening promised. Very interesting. But with that, we end this episode of The Opening School. Bye!